Hey there, crafty friends. It's Tina the Scrappin' Rabbit. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel today. In this video, we're going to be creating a Valentine's Day card featuring the new release from Scrappy Tails Craft. This is the A2 high heel shoe die set that I'm going to be playing with today. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the die set with all the layers. There are many different shoes that you can create with this set. I'm going to go ahead and cut everything out. But first, let's take a look at the actual measurements. So the shoe height is just about 4 inches tall. And then the width, it's roughly about the same, maybe a little bit more, like a 4 1/8 when you get from the bottom toe edge to the top heel edge, but it basically will fit an A2 card size just fine, even with all of the layers. So these are all of the cuts, and you even get a little bow. I'm going to go ahead and cut out all of the pieces, and then we'll put them together. So this is all of the die cuts. That is the base layer shoe. So you see it's a really nice size. This layer here does a floral, and I went ahead and cut it out in this really pretty pink foil that I have. I'm using my Valentine's Day paper from my stash. This is a pretty smooth, shiny pink paper, and that is the other die cut that you get. So you might recognize some of these papers if you're a paper hoarder like me. I think I picked these up at Target several years ago. So I'm going through and using up my stash. So this piece right here fits just perfectly right up against that bottom layer. And it's a very thin paper, so I'm smoothing it out with my bone folder. I went ahead and cut the heel out of pink glittered cardstock that coordinates with that foil. And so you can put that bottom piece right over there. I'm going to add that floral layer. So when I went going to glue it, it's slightly bigger than the base, and I added the glue along the edges, but really ideally you're going to want to add the glue behind the florals, because the trim around the shoe really, it kind of is like an outline, but it goes right outside of that base cut, and you'll see when I lift it up and show you on the bottom side. But look at how beautiful that piece looks over that other layer. So there I'm adding the glue to the florals to help it stick down a little bit nicer. And see how it goes right over the edge? Again, I'm just adding a little bit more glue under the flowers, and then that is keeping the layered piece right on top. And you can use these layers together or separately, but that is how that top piece fits on. And you can add this heel, or not the heel, but the sole if you want to. And I chose to do that, to add more of that pink glittered cardstock on there. So I'm adding the glue and setting that right on top. And I just think that that is such a gorgeous shoe. So for the second shoe, I'm going to use the other pieces. So these just fit right along the lines of that base cut. So you have the inside of the shoe there, you have the toe of the shoe, and then you have this, the sole and the heel. And again, I used these beautiful foil papers. There's this little piece that goes right in the front, and that is like an open toe shoe. And I think it's just adorable. So I'm adding the glittered heel and the sole, and then you get these little pieces for this pretty pink bow. So I went ahead and did the foil with the glittered cardstock, and I'm just kind of messing around with it, trying to figure out where the pieces go, and then I'm using the liquid glue and adding them right as the inside pieces of the bow. And it looks so pretty. I love the foil with the glitter. It's just gorgeous. And the foil papers just slide around a lot, and so I'm just putting them back into place because, like I said, it does take a little bit of time to dry when you're using these specialty papers, and so you want to give them a little bit of time. And then there's that little beaded piece in there. It's so cute. So you can add the bow to the toe of the shoe or to the heel of the shoe, and I went ahead and did it to the heel. So these are the two shoes you get using every cut. So this here is a folded card base at 4 1/4 by 4 inches. And I'm going to show you how I made a card base using the base die. So right over the folded edge, I'm lining up the heel and I'm adding some tape down. And you're going to see when I flip it over, you're going to want that cut edge to go right off of the fold so it does not cut. And then that is going to keep the fold in the card and give you a shaped card for this base layer. So I'm going to run it through. This is a Neenah 110-pound cardstock, so it's the thick stuff, and it cut through. This is one pass just fine, and I'm just kind of bending it because it did cut, but sometimes you have to just bend those fibers to get them to separate. And there you have your shaped card. So cute. So that's how you do that if you want to make a shaped card. I went ahead and grabbed the Slimline Intricate Lace Borders die. I'm going to grab this scalloped layer, and I have a piece of white cardstock cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to trim that layer down. This is what it looks like trimmed. It's so pretty, and I'm going to get one of my old Cuttlebug folders from my stash with these little tiny hearts on it and run it through my machine. I grabbed the freebie from the release, and I want to use this heart die. I think that it's going to be perfect to add a sentiment to the front of my card. And this is the Paris Besties stamp set from the latest release, and I'm just sizing it to make sure that that sentiment is going to fit on that heart, and it fits perfectly. So I went ahead and grabbed the stamp, and I'm just stamping it off a couple times since I'm not going to be using my stamp tool, and I want to make sure that the stamp is nice and ready, juicing it up with that ink so that I can get it stamped on there perfect the first time. And there you go. Happy Galentine's Day. I'm going to heat emboss that. Heat up my heat tool nice and hot to melt down that clear embossing powder. And I think that it looks fantastic. Just perfect. Gives it a nice shine and dimension. I'm going to grab my Distress Oxide in the Kish Flamingo and my little dauber to just brush on some of that pink ink around the edges to help that heart stand out since it's going to be white on white. And look at how pretty that looks. So now it's time to just put my card together. I've got my 4 1/4 top 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 top folding A2 size card base. There is my coordinating pattern paper. I just cut like 1 1/4 inches or something like that to add to the bottom of the front of my card base. It has that foil that really just coordinates beautifully with the papers that I used. And then I'm going to smooth that out since it's thinner, it's paper, it's not cardstock, and that glue can sometimes leave a impression under there. So now I'm adding the glue to my embossed layer, and this card is coming together so quickly. I love doing die cut cards. That's my new favorite thing. So I'm just putting it up against the corners, making sure that it's nice and straight and smoothing it out. And I'm going to glue the shoe directly onto that card base. Now with the embossing, it might take a little bit to get it to hold down, so I'm just going to add the liquid glue, and I'm going to give it time to really set and to dry on the front of my cardstock, my card base. And so you can see because it is embossed, I'm going to lay this paperweight down that was gifted to me from Sabrina from Scrappy Tales Craft, and I just love it. And it works perfectly as a weight to help my layers dry flat and adhere to the front of my card base. So I popped up the little heart, and I'm adding that with that double-sided foam tape. And it's just so stinking cute. So that is my card. So I created another one just like it using the other high heel that we created. earlier in the video, and there you have it, 2 different cards with the 2 different shoes when you cut out all of the layering pieces. Now I did make a couple shaped cards as well that I think turned out so cute. So again, using the foil and the glittered cardstock, stamping Happy Galentine's Day on the inside of that. Now here you notice I added a heel. All you have to do is just cut out that heel portion of that layer and trim it down with your scissors, and there you have a little heel for your shoe if you want to create a different style of shoe. I love this one with the red foil hearts, and look at how cute it stands up just perfectly. That is 110-pound cardstock for the base, and I think that they just turned out super adorable. So I have 4 little cards here to share with you guys today for my girlfriends. I hope you like this video. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. All the links to the products will be in the description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye for now.